Hi everyone, it's Mario Vegas and welcome back to Tank Zone. This time our spotlight shines on Merkava 3, Tier 8 Israel main battle tank. And the Merkava Chariot series is one of the famous main battle tanks in the world. And therefore today we will compare this vehicle to its counterparts and we will find out its pros and cons. And based on that we will determine the most suitable retrofits and crew skills. And we will pick them and add them to our vehicle as we go, giving you a better perspective and opportunity to see how this vehicle with its stock stats gradually becomes a competitive and battle-ready combat machine. We will pick retrofits as well as we go. As you can see, there are no retrofits right now installed. And we will talk about a little bit about tactics as well, on how to use it during the match based on my personal experience. So let's start, and let's start with the sustained damage. Sustained damage, moderate damage, I would say 450, but good enough penetration, 700 millimeters, and good DPM, 5,681 per minute. Only VT4 can do better. And this great DPM is mostly achieved because very good fire rate, which is due to ready rack system and 4-shell magazine, what this Merkava has. And to increase its already great fire rate and DPM, and this way increase its edge on the battlefield, I would like to recommend to pick Gun Breach, Rapid Fire for Loader, and Rachel as command. So let's start with the Gun Breach. Okay, Loader, Rapid Fire for Loader, and Rachel. Why Rachel? Because she is great commander for brawler tanks and has skills increase reload speed per each opponent in 50-meter radius. And not to forget to mention, Merkava 3 has self-homing missiles that track and follow targets. So let's move on to the defense. Merkava 3 has most hit points between Tier 8 progression vehicles. However, a lot of its counterparts have better hull versus AP protection, and the tank has weak and unstable ammo rack. But Merkava 3 has good turret protection, especially against heat rounds. And let's take a look at Merkava 3 in armor calculator. So, as you can see, there is a weak spot in the belly, especially on the driver's side, a little bit bigger one. Of course, the sides and rear, these are out of discussion. They are penetrable by both by heat and by AP rounds. You can see heat goes through as well. So let's go back to the AP. And Merkava 3 has great frontal upper plate. As you can see, very good, very reliable protection in the front. From side, turret is penetrable. Okay, so we determined that Merkava has very good frontal protection, except, of course, belly, especially on the driver's side. Let's go back to the garage. Additionally, this tank has APS to counter missile threats. And for those who are interested where they are located, APS, in real life, APS units are these units here on one side and on the other side. This is APS unit and this one as well. So let's rotate it back. And the first thing that alarms me about this tank protection is unstable ammo rack, which tends to explode quite frequently. Same problem we can observe on Merkava 1 and Merkava 2 as well. When I started to play with Merkava 1, at the beginning it was a very unpleasant surprise, and I could not perform until I did not installed reinforced ammo rack retrofit, which was a real game changer and gave me opportunity to equally fight back opponents. Therefore, I would like to suggest absolutely the same solution for this problem on the Merkava 3 as well. So let's install reinforced ammo rack retrofit. Here it is. Let's install it. So much better. As a Merkava is a typical brawler tank, it should be fit for such tasks, right? During the game, quite often you hide all your tank weak spots, exposing only the turret and gun. But as your turret frontal plate is close to impregnable, your partially vulnerable gun becomes desired and sometimes even opponent's only choice to somehow lower your threat and stop you from firing, right? And therefore, in my opinion, you may consider to counter this problem by picking preventive maintenance skill for gun. So let's do that. Here it is, preventive maintenance, which will increase hit points by 50% for a cannon. Go, let's install it. And let's move on to the mobility. Average top speed, it's not bad. It's definitely not bad for such heavy and quite big tank. But it has a below average acceleration, 6.83 seconds acceleration, and slow hull traverse, 31.04 degrees per second. At this point, let's pick off-road driving for driver, which will help us to get at least 20% of acceleration time due to environment resistance. Let's do at least something about this sluggishness. So, but off-road driving is like I would say standard for basically all tanks and basically for all vehicles what you play, because most of the time you're not driving on the roads during the game. Mostly you drive off-road, so it's kind of standard for all vehicles. But anyway, so let's move on to the utility tab, and what we can see here, well, camo, I will not even touch camo, and I will not comment about camo. You can see 10% on from front, or from side 5%, and from rear 10% camo. Well, nothing, and it's typical for tanks. But Merkava has better vision than other its counterparts. Only Al Hussein has same capabilities. And not to lose a bit of this important and valuable parameter, let's pick augmented optics retrofit. Let's go again into retrofits and let's pick augmented optic retrofit. So now it's much better. Look at that, 415 meters. It is, of course, it is not eagle eye vision, but it is good. It is all right for tank. And let's move on to the last bit of our stats and parameters, to the targeting. And look at that. Poor -7 degrees depression, but you may consider equip your Merkava with at least a couple of anti-tank guided missiles, which are tandem heat missiles, to at least somehow compensate for this disadvantage. Only be aware of that the missiles will not help on short distances, because if a target is less than 50 meters from you, it will not gonna be enough time to adjust missile trajectory. For such targets, you must aim directly and to provide direct fire with the missile. But if you already aiming directly to the to your target, then you don't need missile. You are going for either AP or heat rounds. So let's take a look at accuracy. Surgical precision, surgical accuracy. Only Al Hussein and Leopard 2A5 can compete with that. Look at that. 0.089 accuracy. Aim time. It could be better, but it's not bad. But it's my personal preference. And slow turret traverse, 35.31 degrees per second. Great accuracy is great. It would be better if we could preserve it as much as possible. And therefore, I suggest picking smooth ride for driver, not to lose it during the movement, because most of the time combat is performed on the move. To decrease aim time as much as possible, I would pick quick draw for gunner. Let's pick a quick draw for gunner. Quick draw for gunner, and aim time will decrease. So now it's 1.38 seconds. I like it much better. And finally, as I use Rachel as command, and one of her skills that I picked for her increases reload speed after destruction of the enemy module, and another two of her skills giving 22 module damage improvement already, I would like to pick explosive shells as another skill for load to increase module damage by another 10%, and totaling that around 35% of module damage improvement. Let's pick these explosive shells. Explosive shells, a module damage improved by 10%. Great. Let's pick them. But it's my personal preference. If you swap ammo constantly, I suggest preparation. This one. If you swap constantly between ammo, it depends on your gaming style. Or vehicles expertise. If you find your Merkava components, internal components damaged quite often. So it's again depend on your gaming style, but I pick explosive shells. So overall, Merkava 3 is a great brawler. When I started to grind it, of course, it lagged behind the majority of opponents. But when I got it all upgraded and crew trained up to 5th level, my Merkava started to shine, producing frequent great performance match results. As Merkava is sluggish, you should be aware of opponent flanking maneuvers. I do not recommend to take it alone in a battle. Have at least one tank to make at least battle pair. It is more than capable to perform frontal fight if the belly is kept safe. Because as we saw, belly has weak spot, especially on the driver's side here, yeah. Sometimes I found it very capable to do short over-the-corner flanking maneuvers to exploit its tremendous fire rate, and if you're lucky, you can get 4 hits into opponent's side or rear in 10 seconds, resulting in around 1,800 of total damage caused. But these nasty tricks will work only if you will work in a battle group and your opponent will be glued to the spot by your allies' fire. In some battles, I found myself rampaging streets, like I would be driving AVV, but it was possible only because I did not stop and kept moving all the time and firing all the time, and my teammates helped me a lot as well. That's it for today. Thank you for watching and following Tank Zone. Do not forget to subscribe. Have a wonderful day, good results in your game, and see you in next episode.